Great Awakening Light Lords on Instagram, and Grand Rising to those who have not yet awoken to the fact that they are everything. And that when you become conscious of how you're everything, the specific details of how everything exists around you and creates your ego or your personality or your physical body and the experience that it takes in and breaks down within itself through the electrical impulses of information, then you will have more control over your personality, over your light that you give out, and how you receive that light and process the information. Which means you will basically recreate your whole experience, because that's all your experience is the different types of energies and electrical signals that your body takes from the 5 senses. When you start to connect with other senses, then you will start to connect with other realities. It all starts within you, starts within your mind. And what happens is people get so caught up in the programs that are steadily running that they begin to miss out parts of their astrological energy. They begin to become unconscious or unaware of the different parts of their natural selves expressing themselves through the daily chit chatter, the daily noise of humanity, of modern humanity, just walking back and forth, going from one place to another, jump, skip, got to do this, got to do that, instead of taking time to look at the foundation of where everything comes from, which is the natural realm. When you go to look at the natural realm, you actually find that, okay, everything in this realm, everything in this existence, everything that's happening here comes from this. But where does that come from? These are the types of questions you should ask. These are the type of questions that will open your mind to the point of of higher awareness. You will eventually get to this point, but our duty, my duty, is to push for you to get to this point, to push for you to be better, to help you out, speaking into your life through these cellular signals we have, through these cellular devices we have, and through these cellular devices we have. We are all cells within a body, just like your cells are within your body. And everything is fractal and always reflecting itself through smaller and higher scales. We are the cells. And the cells in your body communicate through cellular signaling, biochemicals. We communicate the same way, just in a different way. We communicate using the same energy, just in different ways, is what I mean to say. We have devices that are replicas of our bodies that we use to shoot electromagnetic waves, electromagnetic signals between them to connect them so that we may communicate and speak to one another. But before we had that, before we did anything dealing with this, we had different ways of messaging through train and mail service and birds and messages in a bottle. But before that, we had what we've always had. See, what we did, we used it since we didn't understand how our brain works and how this reality is perceived through our body, through our cellular device. We had to try to take all of these external, all of this stuff out here and do our best with that. And when you see how wonderfully and beautifully the human body is made, the human anatomy, and the genes that are active therein, you will begin to unlock the secrets of how to fully control your life, how to fully control your perception of life, in turn affecting all of reality through multiple waves of constructive interference. So, what happens when you start to ask these questions is your mind will unravel. Who am I? Where am I? Why am I here? And you notice that nature is the foundation of all information. But we're so focused on everything else in modern society that we miss out on nature. We become unaware of nature and the natural laws. And we must steadily program ourselves and repeat to ourselves on a daily basis in order to eventually apply the information and see the truths of reality, the whole truths. See, the Kabbalion tells you that everything is half truth, meaning that the law, meaning the law of polarity. The law of polarity states that everything that is has an equal and opposite amount of energy, or it's basically similar energies at different scales, to put it more simply. So really, there's a substance, and that substance has different extremes, and then it has things in between the extremes. There's one substance, and this is called temperature. That one substance is temperature, but you have the extremes of temperature, which are really not extremes because they're never ending, which we call hot, we call cold, and then we have lukewarm. But these are subjective labels that we put on the temperature of things, how we feel it feels to us, how we perceive the energy, how we perceive the feeling of hot and cold and warm. It's how we label the temperature, the different parts of the temperature. But in truth, there is no hot, cold, or warm. That is all based on our perception of what things are, not what is. There is only that energy. There is only what we call temperature. But the way you feel temperature depends on your perception. It says all of us, it says perceptions is based on genetics and based on gene expression, and we all have similar bodies. The human anatomy, we have come to an agreement subjectively that this temperature is hot, this temperature is cold, this temperature, yada yada yada, and all the in-betweens and stuff like that. So this is how reality actually works. All knowledge is half truth. The only thing that's whole truth is the experience of applying all your information to your life. See, what you get from applying the information is something that can't be written down in a book, something that can't be written on the internet, something that cannot be placed on any wall. You can write down the experience, but it's going to be a replica of something that actually happened. It's not going to be an exact experience, because no one can experience your life but you. So when you think of it on a higher scale, and you think about how it corresponds, then you will know that you're within your own body. You're the only one that exists. Everyone else is existing just as you are, as the only thing that can exist. But we see multiple parts of ourselves. We see the universe, and we get stuck in the illusion of separation and think that these people are separate from each other, that I'm separate from someone else. But actually, we all connect through the earth, through electromagnetic waves, through electricity, through all different types of cells and chemicals, biochemicals, and atomic structures and chemical compounds floating throughout space. This space that we have created for ourselves. That is how we're connected. And we will forever be connected. When you think on a higher state and you open your mind to the possibilities of existence, instead of worrying about what won't happen, trying to make things unknowingly, unconsciously shortening possibilities, lessening the thought wave of possibility, that is living in hell. So many people out here living in hell don't even know it. So many people out here thinking that they have to be a certain way, or that they have to follow a specific type of religion in order to not go to hell. It means you're already in hell, because you're living in a fear-based mentality. And when you're living in a fear-based mentality, you will foresee the higher concepts as something through cognitive dissonance. You will perceive the higher concepts through cognitive dissonance, because you will always fear not following, or fear anything that's outside of your comfort zone. But life is not about comfort, and I'm going to tell you that straight up. Life is not about comfort. It's not about comfort. It is about growth. See, when you attain this consciousness, you no longer see life as this is a good situation, this is a bad situation. You only see life as growth, and you're either in tune with that growth. You're either a cell that's equalizing, a cell that's keeping the equilibrium of the body, and bettering it by any means through its own genetic code that is given, which is called your astrological energy that you need to study. You can go get a natal chart and study it, or you're gonna just be unaware of everything. And when you are aware of it, you still have the choice to just be lower than the lowest of lows. Because if you know the information and you're not applying the information, then you're worse than the people that don't even know about the information. Just like people that don't know about heaven, they when they die, they still go to heaven because they didn't have the choice. They weren't presented the choice, but they still get sent back. They still get sent back so that they can become more aware. That's what this existence is about. You can only be better if you become more aware. So existence is pushing everything that is a piece of itself to become more aware, in order for it to become more aware. Your job here, your purpose here, is to make possibilities. Your job here is to manipulate energy in such a way that you manifest an experience of betterment through your own specific genealogy, through your own specific genetic code, so that the all can be more aware of those codes and how they express themselves, so that it can take that information and make better things, make better things happen every moment, increasing, like fully, just always increasing, always in the mentality of betterment. When you align your thoughts with the mentality of betterment and asking the right questions: who am I? Why am I here? What am I doing every moment? Am I being stagnant? Am I being complacent? Am I moving? How's my energy today? Am I vibrating high? Am I open to higher thought forms, to different ways of thinking? Am I open to these things? Am I open to go outside and ground every day, no matter what? Am I open to go out there and get that sunlight every day, no matter what? Am I open to move to the sun, move somewhere closer to the sunlight that I need? If I'm living in an environment where we hardly see the sun, am I willing to do that? Am I willing to drink the cleanest water I can find, the best water I can find? Am I willing to not settle for less when it comes to bonding and connecting with the universe and all that is, and everything that these people call God and divinity and power of all that is, this all-knowing thing? But I got something for y'all. I got some videos coming, man. I've been meditating on this information and been applying it in my mentality and throughout my daily life and how I respond to certain situations. And so I'm getting like mind-blowing information. And that's what I'm teaching. That's why I'm telling you, I'm giving a testimony and edification of this information that has come through my astrological energy, so that it can spark you, so that it can help you and those that can bond with this type of information, can bond with this mentality, this thought frequency, this thought wave. You bond with this thought wave, then you're only going higher and higher and higher. There is no limit. There's no limit. You're only going higher and higher and higher, making better and better purposes for life. Life only knows life. This is something you should remember. Life only knows life. Energy cannot be created nor destroyed. The energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only be transformed from one form to another. How are you transforming yourself? Ask yourself, how am I transforming myself every single day? What am I doing to get higher thoughts that I can use to express within my experience of reality, to change my circumstances, to get my mind right, and to help others get their minds right as well? What am I doing? And you can write it down, or you can think about it as much as you can every day. Whatever you do, whatever your passion is, whatever your gifts and your talents and your skills that you are developing are, express the information through them, so that you can constantly reciprocate that information with yourself. Because when you're in that state of meditation, through your work, through your skill, through focusing on getting something accomplished, that's when you're in a theta state. That's when you're in a beta theta state. You're between the beta and theta waves, meaning you're actually in deep study, but you're also within your own visualization and imagination. And through your imagination, your subconscious mind will get data more thoroughly, especially if you're doing it over and over and over again. So while you're focused on what you're doing and you're incorporating the information of whatever skill you do, that information is being embedded within your subconscious mind, which means it will automatically make you do the things that you want to do and do the things that will lead you to your visualization. Being the best you can be at what you do is your purpose here. Being the best you can be at what you do is your purpose. Better. That's how you better all of existence. See, we got this concept that existence is just what it is, and you got to deal with it. Okay, yeah, it is what it is, and you got to deal with it. But how? How am I going to deal with it? What am I going to do to affect it? How am I going to go throughout this journey of dealing with life? I must first deal with myself, because I'm the one experiencing life. People are asked the question, dude, how's thought the basis of reality, bro? How can you just think something in existence, bro? You don't see the importance of your mind. You don't see the importance of your individualism, right? You don't see the importance of your individual interdependence to nature. You don't see the importance in it. Look, without your mind, this reality doesn't exist. So you don't. Yeah, it's a simulation. Look at the word simulation. Look at the word holographic universe. Look at the word holographic or hologram. Correlated to the universe. Correlated to yourself. You know what light is? Light is just the substance of which the simulation is created with. That's all it is. Light is just consciousness. Everything starts in the mind, and that's the first law of nature. So without your mind, without your teeny tiny mind compared to all of the universe, compared to all these different star systems and stuff, and biological life, your teeny tiny consciousness, your teeny tiny level, your teeny tiny consciousness, without your consciousness, it wouldn't exist. It wouldn't exist. It's just simple. Like, without your consciousness, you wouldn't experience your life. That's point blank, period. That's how. I mean, that's why it's so important. That's why your consciousness is so important to the all. You are very important. You must see your importance. Without you, the all does not exist. And without the all, or what people call God, without the universe, within the all, you wouldn't exist. It's simultaneous. It's simultaneous. It's a simulation. A simulation. Look up the word simulation. Simulation. I just did a video on simulation, man. I broke down all the reality for y'all, man. And it's so simple. Simulation is something that represents an operation over time. It's a system or process that represents the equation of its operation, of how it even became itself. It represents its own operation. It represents something. This is all a representation of something. Of what's happening within your own mind. What level of consciousness are you on? Then your circumstances will change. When your level of consciousness changes, your circumstance changes. Your environment changes. Because your genes are changing. Or your gene expression is changing. JAH MASHIAC is here to live out and teach higher wisdom as an example for the collective consciousness. And when you become more aware of how everything is connected, like you are connected to everything, and your importance, and know your importance within this realm of thoughts. Know what type of thoughts you think, why you think them, how you think them, and where are those thoughts taking you? How often do you think those thoughts? What roads are you creating? What paths are you making with your thoughts? What tracks are you laying down for your consciousness, for the train to go down, your consciousness to travel on those thoughts and make an experience for you? Why are you here? Where do you come from? Where do we come from? I love myself. Take in this message, share it, subscribe to my channel, like Lord's Assemble, and let's get this information together and start to apply it more often to our lives, guys. These simple things. Simple. Doesn't mean it's easy. Quote from one of my brothers. This is simple information, but it's so difficult for people to grasp it because of all of the gunk, all of the junk, all of the real junk information, or the information that's needed to overcome. With all of the information, you must empty your cup. You must empty your brain. You must let go of all of the information that the systems of the powers, of the so-called powers that be, have put out into the subconscious mind, and utilize the right information to get you out of the situation, to get you out of that realm of living, that realm of hell, the realm of constantly worrying about what am I going to eat every day, the realm of constantly thinking about what am I going to wear, the realm of constantly thinking about how we're going to pay our bills. You will leave that realm. You will cease to worry. And when you notice it, you will notice it more and more, which means you will be giving more and more. If you notice it and you actually use it, because faith without works is dead. You have the faith, which is the substance of things hoped for, and the evidence of things not seen, which is the knowledge and the evidence and the experimentation. But it doesn't matter if you don't actually use that energy for a beneficial purpose and work it, put it into effect, put it into action. Let's take all of this divine knowledge that we see in a so-called conscious community and in the spiritual community, and all of these Gnostic sects of religion, these occultic and esoteric principles that we talk about on these devices and through this Ethernet, the internet, through the airwaves and space, time. All of this information we talk about, but who do you see? How many people do you see actually applying the information to the point where it becomes commonplace? It becomes so astounding and amazing. The technologies that defy what people see in this age as the laws of physics. Before we even acknowledge or talk about the laws of physics, we were supposed to be taught the natural laws, the laws of how reality itself works, and then the specifics in between. When you have the foundation of information set before you, but you don't notice it and you're unaware of it and you stay unaware of it for so long, it's harder to get out of that mind frame. It's harder to get out of that box or those boxes. But when you get to it, you're like, man, it's so simple. The information is so simple. It's so simple that it's hard to understand for people. It's paradoxical, right? It's so simple that we've been thinking everything else. We've been thinking so complex that it's hard to take in the simple information. The fact that, one, everything is your mind, everything is mentalism, and everything comes from thought. And you are thought. And thought is all of existence. So you are everything in existence. You are everything that exists, period. And a piece of everything that exists in order to experience all of existence. Two, you vibrating. Everything is moving. Your mind is always moving. You're going higher and higher realms at all times. It's just your perception that's messed up. And when you get your perception right, then you'll be able to experience the higher. If it's not and you are unaware, you experience lower. As a perception. But it's all expansion. That's why when someone does something good, we say, oh, okay, that's good for everything. But if someone does something bad, we can still say that that's good because it's something to experience, to learn from. Which just means it will be constant learning and constant growth. Then you have polarity. The third. Polarity, I already spoke about it. It just basically saying that everything has an equal and opposite self. Everything. So everything is half truth. And if you correlate it to information, then all the information you hear is only a way to look at it, or a perception of a core, or it's a perception of what that thing actually is. Until you can take that information and actually apply it and see for yourself and experience it yourself, then you will know what it is as a whole truth within you. But until then, researching and just giving out the information is just half truth. It's just a piece. Because no one can actually see from your way of looking at life. So your truth is the whole truth. But you must acknowledge that your truth will change, because there's always a half truth. And that is the whole truth. The experience of knowing that everything is half truth is the whole truth. But you can't teach that. You have to experience it. You can't teach an experience. All you can do is give out information that might invoke an experience in someone else. So this is how you use the law of polarity. Then it's the law of correspondence, as above, so below. These are the simple facts about life that everyone needs to know and take in and acknowledge about the natural realm and the natural state of existence we live in order to actually align with the oneness of all that we are, and then make even better like stuff, like even better technologies, even better thinking styles, even better schools, even better bodies, with will, with conscious awareness. That's all it takes. Just conscious awareness. As above, so below, as within, so without. Everything is interconnected. Everything is correlated. Everything is fractal. Everything that's up is what's down. Everything that's from the left is what's right. Everything that's within is without, is outside of you. That's why these senses, they're taking in electrical energy from outside, from what you see as outside, but it's actually coming from within you. It's coming from within your mind. And then they take that energy, and then your inside of your body breaks down the energy and makes images out of it. It makes an experience out of it. When it makes this experience out of it, it took that information. How did the brain take information outside? How did the brain take information from outside when it's inside? Because it's not inside. It's not just inside. The brain is everything. Just like your consciousness is everything. Every part of your body is just a different form of everything else. That's how you experience reality. That's how you experience your own mind within your own body. This is your own body. That's the law of correspondence. The law of correspondence tells you that the same thing that you are is what everything else is, just a different form. As above, so below. As within, so without. You are a piece of everything experiencing itself subjectively and objectively through experiencing everything infinitely. Everything that can exist, the possibilities. That's what body you're in. That's what body you're a part of. Because if you were inside of a body, working as a natural part of the body, which we are, because we're from the earth, then you are a part of that body's equilibrium. You are a part of that body's ecosystem. So that means that you are a necessary product, a necessary byproduct of that body in order to help that body stay stabilized and in order. So all possibilities that exist, that's Murphy's Law. Murphy's Law says that anything that can happen will happen. So that means anything, if you can think of something happening, that means it can happen. So you're here to actually induce possibility. Break down possibility into probability, and then stamp it as a confirmation into reality as something that can happen. Stamp it into the subconscious mind. That's what we're here to do. You're here to break limits so that you can be unlimited. You're here to experience quote unquote limitation through your perception, just knowing that you're going to get past it. And continue the further the progression through the cycles of life, through the growth and transformation of the all, through infinity. Now, if you ask me, that's a great purpose. I would love, bro, dude, that's a great, like, oh my goodness, like, this philosophy, if people would create a culture out of this philosophy and a religion and live by this and have societies living by this, and this is not even all the information, like, I'm saving stuff, like, I'm literally, because I have videos that are about to be coming back to back about the information that I got a couple days ago, all in a package. I'm repackaging it all out so I can get it y'all. So that purpose, the law of correspondence, itself is so simple that it unlocks that purpose of infinity to your mind if you know how to take the information right through your astrological programming or through your energies, through how when the cosmos was set up when you were born. This is what makes your natural personality, how you see stuff. So then it's the fifth law, which is rhythm, which means energy constantly moves back and forth. Energy constantly moves back and forth, swinging from one motion to another. So that means there are cycles happening within energy, which means energy is constantly transforming into one way and then another way and another one way, then another way. It's constantly doing that. And when it comes to your mentality, see, you will experience something as much pleasure as you can have is as much sorrow you can experience as well. So all of the different levels of polarity you can experience, all those different levels are in between. So, but according to your own astrological energy, you have your own swinging motion, a pendulum swinging motion of going from one state of consciousness to the next, unless you can hold these objective facts. If you can hold these objective facts, no matter what emotion or what level of energy you are on, then it doesn't matter. You're connected with objectivity, and you will constantly better everything. No matter what emotion you're feeling, you'll be able to spit objective facts through them and positively have a positively structured thought form or thought system. This is how you jump through the levels of rhythm. This is how you jump through the level through cycles, through other cycles, because all of the cycles are already existing. That's what the law of rhythm will teach you. All of the cycles of life already exist. It's just about you consciously being on a cycle. You can be swinging back to a negative feeling and then automatically combat that feeling with your own thoughts, because all is mental. See, because this is not a mutable law. You see, this is one of the malleable laws. This is one of the laws that if you become conscious of it through mentalism, then you can actually control what part of the law you're on. It's still a law. It's just you've been able to manipulate your own consciousness through it and not be swung back and forth. If you can actually become conscious of how this law exists and what it can do and correspond it with your own state of thinking. You can be on your way back to a negative emotion or through a cycle of life that you don't want to go through, and then you can, if you catch it at the right time. But see, you got to study energy. You got to study your energy. You got to notice the cycles that's happening in your own life. I can't teach you that. You got to jump. You got to jump. You got to jump. You got to jump above that frequency, and then you will constantly. If you can do it every time, like you gonna go through stuff, but you will begin to jump through different cycles of life. Jump up through different cycles of life onto higher and higher cycles of life. Begin to experience the all for what it is, which is infinity. It's an infinite bettering. That is a purpose. Okay, an infinite experience of getting better and better and through expansion, experience of expansion. So now you have the law of rhythm, and so you have to have the law of cause and effect. These simple laws will change your mind if you constantly focus on them all day, every day, and you actually look at the world and your experience. These laws will change your life, transform your energy, because that's what you're here to do. That's what the laws are here to do. Period. No matter what situation you're in, you're gonna transform energy. That's all it does. That's all it's doing right now. That's why I'm having these different experiences. That's why people coming in and out of the live. You know, it's energy is just transforming in the different parts of each other. The cause and effect. Every effect has a cause, and every cause has its effect. This will teach you that you don't really exist. Nothing really exists. This is a simulation. If the starting point is the end point, then there is no point. Do you get me? Do you get me? Do you get me? Please get me. Because if you have 2 points, this is the starting point, this is the ending point. But the alpha is the omega, and the beginning is the end. The last is the first, and the first is the last. And the cause is the effect. You see where they get it from? Nature. But they want to say, the natural man, don't listen to the natural man, the spirit man knows more. They're the same thing. The spirit man isn't the natural man that understands his nature. It's in the natural man that understands his nature and understands nature for what it is. If the cause is the effect, there is no beginning of existence. Existence always is and always will be. It is a simulation created by the mind, which is infinite, which has always been and always will be experience. Different multitudes of experience of betterment, for betterment. No matter what type of experience it is. Possibilities. Look up superposition. Superposition of waves. Everything is made from waves. Waves are in superposition. Superposition means they're everywhere and nowhere at the same time. It means they're nothing and everything simultaneously. All possible outcomes exist at once. There is no time. What we see as time is just an experience of a stream of consciousness, from one conscious point to the next conscious point, from one unconscious point to becoming conscious, and then unconscious, and then conscious again. All the cycles of life as they are supposed to be. But the point is, even though if one point was cause and one point's an effect, and one part was last, and one point was first, and one point was alpha, and one was omega, and one is the beginning, and one is the end, and they become, and every effect has a cause, and every cause has an effect, then that means that there is no point. But the point of having no point is to create a point. And that's how reality exists. All of the possible points that could exist. And are constantly transforming, constantly moving around, vibrating, getting bigger and smaller, and going farther and nearer, and all the different ways of energy that can exist at one time. Cause and effect teaches you that there is no beginning or end. Nothing really exists except what you focus on, what consciousness is focused on. Nothing really exists but the mind. The mind is illusion, man. Everything is illusion. Everything is just a simulation for betterment, simulating betterment. Being only knows how to be. Life only knows about life. You got mentalism, vibration, polarity, correspondence, rhythm, cause and effect. And the seventh law is gender. And this is a very touchy subject. But it's something you should always have in your mind. There's masculine and feminine energy in all aspects of reality. Meaning that a thought must be expressed. You have a thought, you have the mind, right? And you have thought. What happens when masculine and energy come together? They create one thing. When masculine and feminine energy come together, they create one thing. And it's called offspring, or expression of energy. So the thought and the mind are always together. The thought and the mind, thoughts, all possibilities of every possible thought that could be, and the mind itself have always been one. That's why it says in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was God, and everything that was made was not made by using the Word. But you got to have thoughts to even express words. You got to have a mind. So in the beginning was the mind, and the thought was with the mind, and that without either one of them, it wasn't nothing made. And the thing that was made was the offspring of the thought and the mind, which is energy. And energy vibrates in all different kinds of ways, and all different types of facets and qualities, which make up reality. And it also replicates the masculine and feminine, the fact that there is a base and an expression of their base. Basically, everything has a logical way of being and an illogical way of being. Basically, you are aware of things, you are unaware of things. Some things you do are creative, just do it off a whim. Didn't take any logical consciousness to do. And a lot of things you focus on, and you focus in that's masculine energy. You do things creatively and artistically, that's feminine energy. There's just different ways of doing things, and the way you do it depends on what type of energies you're using. But that's all within your chart, and that's all within yourself. And that's all within like who you are as a person at different levels. So gender has its place. There are only two genders. And in actuality, if you break down the law of gender, the being that we're in, is actually masculine and feminine. So we're all masculine and feminine. You just have a certain amount of masculine energy or a certain amount of feminine energy that makes you look like, that makes your genes express themselves as what we call a man or woman, in order to keep reproducing, basically. In order to keep reproducing ourselves. This is the purpose of reality, man. So when it comes to all these social issues about homosexual energy and bisexual energy and stuff like that, people don't know themselves, man. They're just caught up in the ruckus. Open your mind to these 7 hermetic principles and these laws of nature, man. I'm trying to tell you, if you actually study them on a daily basis and apply them to your life and become one with this consciousness of the all that you are. All that you are, not just the peace. You're here to express your peace, but you have to be conscious of how you became that peace. The process of you becoming that peace and using the same process to express the peace. That's what a simulation is. You're living within your own simulation. You're supposed to be representing the operation or the codes for which the simulation exists for. That's what purpose is. And there is no purpose. Your purpose doesn't matter if you don't make it matter. It doesn't materialize if you don't make it materialize, which means it's not a purpose until you actually take it into consideration and do it. If you're not doing that, you have no purpose. If you think of a purpose and don't go for that purpose, you don't have a purpose. You're in hell. You're in Hades. You're in the mental state of thinking of self-deterioration and self-destruction. But that's all good for all of us around here. That's all good for all of us. Still, I just like to be on the better end of the stick, because all of those energies are going to get filtered out when it comes to having a healthy body, living within a healthy body. If I'm living within a healthy body, if I am connected with the higher self, with the higher versions of myself, higher and higher without limit, and I'm healthy within my body, then my body will be healthy. The body that I'm in will be healthy, because I will be able to give my genetic code, give out my genetic expression, and those that relate to that genetic expression or have similar gene codes on their cellular walls, will take in this information and make the body heal. Will turn from their ways of being bacterial infection or a fungal infection or a virus or a cancer cell, and come back to the purpose. Become more aware of their purpose so they can live even more and on even higher scales. Let's get this information together, guys. I love myself too much. I love myself so much, man. Moving at God's speed. Moving at God's speed like I was already there. I love myself. Peace out, man. Peace in, and peace out. Subscribe. Information is coming. Information is coming.